What's going on, everybody? Welcome to part 2 of my top 10 sneaker releases of 2022. So if you watched my last video, you know that I tried making this all in one video, but it cut out due to storage space on my phone at like number 3. So I decided to just make it 2 parts and just split it half and half. So this video, part 2, includes my sneakers ranked 1 through 5 and the honorable mentions, which I will mention at like number probably 3. Before we get into the top 3, I'll name the honorable mentions. So we'll get 2 shoes down, then we'll go honorable mentions, and then we'll hit the top 3. So let's get into it. So number 6 is where we left off on our last one. On the last video, it was the Ama 4s. It's a great shoe. I love it. Lots of people did. It was a big hit. Most people actually have this shoe at like in their top 3, but most people have it like their top 2. It's either the first or the second on most of the top 10 lists that I've seen. But for me personally, I wasn't a big 4s guy, which I said in the last video. So it didn't even make it in the top 5 for me. So number 5 is the Travis Scott Air Jordan 1 Low Reverse Mochas. So this shoe, when it first released, I was thinking like sneaker of the year, like number 1. I don't know what could beat it. At the time, there was a sneaker above this. I won't say which one, but they were released really close to each other, and I wasn't sure which one I would put ahead of the other one, but I was pretty sure it was this one. So this one dropped and went bonkers, just like every Travis Scott Jordan release, and in my opinion, these are the best of all of Travis Scott's shoes besides the powder blue 4s. Those are my favorite Travis Scott's by far, no question. But when it comes to the Jordan 1s, the highs and the lows, I don't think you can even really throw the Air Max 1s in here because those weren't, like, they were hype, but they weren't Jordan 1 low Travis Scott hype. So when we're talking about the big Travis Scott collaborations, like the Jordan 1s, these for me are number 1. And I don't know what it is, because they are very similar to the OG Travis Scott Jordan 1 lows, the Mochas. But the color blocking is the only thing that's really different. But colors and everything, it's all the same except for the color blocking. And personally, I like the white overlays with the brown upper more than what was originally made on the regular Mocha Jordan 1 low Travis Scott. So that's number 5. The next shoe, number 4, is, you're gonna be surprised. It's not. I haven't seen. I mean, I see it on people's lists, mostly in the honorable mentions. Nobody's ever not mentioned it at all. But I don't think, maybe one person I saw theirs in the top 5. But other than that, like it was 8, 9, or 10. But number 4 is the Kobe 6 Protro Mambacitas. So I am a huge basketball guy. And I love the Nike basketball line. I absolutely love it. I wish it was more like back, 5, 10 years ago when Nike basketball was really like kind of the peak of sneakers. Like, and if it wasn't the peak, it was up there. But everyone was going, the LeBron 9s, the 10s, the Kobe's when he first was started up with Nike, and the KDs, the early KDs. For me, the Nike basketball line is, for me, one of my favorite, I guess, sections or genres of sneakers. And the Kobe's are easily my favorite. The Kobe 6 is probably my second favorite model of the Kobe line, the Nike Kobe line. And the reason I have this in the top 5, I'm going to be honest, if Kobe was still alive and this shoe didn't mean what it means, it would not be in the top 5, and it might not even be in the top 10. But since Kobe did pass, and this shoe kind of like a testament to his legacy, sort of. him and Giannis. So this shoe just represents something bigger than just sneakers and bigger than just basketball. Kobe was one of the great legends of not just basketball, even of sports, and he touched so many different lives, and he was the reason for so many people loving the game of basketball. People like Jason Tatum and Devin Booker, these people, I mean, they looked up to him, and he was their idol. He was one of mine. Kobe Bryant is one of my favorite athletes of all time, and I just think this shoe representing what it represents and meaning what it means, the story, the reasoning for making this shoe is what really kicks this shoe up into the top 5. And for me, this will be a shoe that I will be chasing for until I can get it, and however long that is. I will be going for this shoe whenever I can. So that's number 4, the Mambacita Kobe's. Number 3, before we get into number 3, let's do the honorable mentions, and there are quite a few of them. So first thing I want to mention here is that New Balance had an amazing year, and I think we can all agree on that. And I think one of the reasons for that is their new model that came out this year, the New Balance 9060s. Personally, I love this shoe, and I haven't had a pair in person. I would love to have a pair, and we'll probably have a pair in the near future. But from what I've seen, people absolutely love this shoe. Comfort-wise, look-wise, everything about them. I think this model is one of the reasons that New Balance was able to take their brand where they were able to take it this year. So first, the 9060 New Balances and the New Balance as a whole. Another New Balance shoe that I have on the honorable mentions is the latest Joe Freshgoods 993 collaboration. There were 3 colorways. They had the blue colorway, which was my personal favorite one, the green colorway, which was green's my favorite color, but it was kind of a weird green, kind of like an off green. And then they had the pink colorway, which I also really liked. Definitely a close second runner-up to the blue. Next on my honorable mention list is the Jordan 7 collaboration with Trophy Room. This shoe was not talked about enough, in my opinion, and I wanted to put it on my top 10 so bad, and it totally could be on the top 10. I mean, you could swap it out for probably any of the first 3 shoes on my top 10 list, and there are more people than I expected had this on their list, just because it was not a very talked about shoe and it wasn't a very hype shoe. Then again, at the end of the day, it is a Trophy Room collaboration with Jordan Brand, so I mean, people are going to recognize that. So next we have this is probably my favorite Jordan 2 release of the whole year, and I think quite a few people will agree with me on this one. It is the Union collaboration in the gray fog colorway. This shoe was absolutely just perfect. Like, the way this shoe was made, before I got this shoe, it was my favorite Jordan 2. But when I got it, my sister actually got it for me for Christmas. When I got them in hand and feeling them and seeing them in person and all the different materials, it just made it so much better. Like, this shoe, until you actually are holding it in your hand, the quality and craftsmanship of this shoe is just amazing. And it is not talked about enough, in my opinion. And like the Jordan 7 Trophy Rooms, I think this definitely has a spot on the list. It just depends on, how you're feeling at the moment. So next, I was not a huge fan of this shoe, but I have to give credit where credit is due. It was a very popular shoe, probably the most popular shoe of the year, and that was the Jordan 4 Military Blacks. Amazing shoe. It was done very well. Jordan Brand did a great job, well executed. I just wasn't feeling it. I don't know. The next one is another Jordan 2, the J Balvin collaboration. This shoe, like the Unions, you don't have to hold this. I mean, I'm sure if you hold this shoe in your hand, you'll love it so much more, just like most shoes. But you can see the quality of craftsmanship in this shoe. You can see the different materials, the light up tongue, the back heel guard with the sky and the clouds, and it was just in my opinion, much better than the Jordan 1 J Balvin collaboration. Next is the Yeezy 350 V1 Turtle Dove that was released on Yeezy Day this year. I have always been a fan of the Yeezy 350 V1. Lots of people don't like it as much as the V2s, but personally, I think it just looks more. It looks more classic. Like it looks like an OG type sneaker, and it is. It was the first Adidas Yeezy collaboration sneaker, and it hasn't been re-retroed. This is the first time. So last time it released before this year, or this last year, was 2015. So that's like 7 years. That's a long time. Yeah, the 350 Turtle Doves. There's two more. The Nike Dunk Low Union collaboration. There was 3 colorways. They had the Argon colorway, the pistachio colorway, and then my favorite easily was the Court Purple colorway. This shoe just looks so clean, and it just looks, it's like the perfect dunk. I'm not a huge dunk fan, but these are amazing, and I will definitely be getting me a pair of these in the near future. Hopefully. We'll see. But it's definitely one of the next few pairs. But the last pair on my honorable mentions, the only reason I didn't have this in my top 10 was because of how hard it is to obtain. It's so unobtainable, it's ridiculous, and they're so expensive, hard to find, and you know what I'm talking about. I know you do. The Louis Vuitton Off-White Air Force Ones. This shoe was so unexpected for me. When it was rumored to release, I was kind of blown away that it was actually happening. I'm personally not a huge fan of the design. It definitely has that, designer look to it, which I'm not a big designer guy, so it doesn't really appeal to my eye a whole lot. But the reason I have it on my honorable mentions is because of how crazy the release was. It went nuts. Super limited, which is the reason it's super unobtainable, but also because it's just mad expensive. Like, it is crazy. That's all for the honorable mentions, and let's get into the top 3. Number 3, the Off-White Air Force Ones in the Brooklyn colorway. This shoe was, like I've said about a few of the shoes on here, it was perfectly made. Most people aren't a fan of the green color, but personally, green's my favorite color, and this is the perfect green. Like, this is my favorite shade of green. It's so, all I could say is this shoe is just perfect. And the release, like the Louis Vuitton Off-White Air Force Ones, the release was crazy. I don't know how many pairs were released, but I don't know anyone who got these on the release. Like, they were more limited than I expected. Because of that, the price is not it's not in my budget range, I guess you could say. So I definitely won't be getting this shoe for a long time, which is sad, but I will definitely be getting it at some point, and I am looking forward and excited to that day. So that's number 3, the Brooklyn Off-White Air Force Ones. Number 2, you are not expecting this, but it is the Nike Dunk Lows in the Jackie Robinson colorway. Yes, number 2 is the Jackie Robinson Dunks. Now, one of the reasons it's my list, so I guess bias plays a lot in this because it's just my opinion, so it's all bias, but maybe even more so because I was able to get this shoe. I got my whole family, aunts, cousins, even my grandma, I think, entered. But tons of people in my family entered in this draft. No one got it. I didn't get it, and I was at work when I entered the release, and then I got the notification on my phone. It was like, your submission wasn't selected, and I was asking everybody, oh, did you get it? Did you get it? And everyone was saying, no, no, no. And then probably end of the day, it was like 4:30-ish, 5 o'clock maybe, End of my work day, and I get a call from my dad. He goes, "What are you doing right now?" And I'm like, "I'm driving home from work." And he goes, "Okay, well, don't drive off the road when I tell you this." And I was like, "Okay, well, I thought someone died or something." And he goes, I he goes, "I won the shoes for you." And I went crazy. I was Oh, it was amazing. And so they show up a week and a half later, and they were just even better in person. I say that a lot, but it's true. They were even better in person than in the pictures. And I have a full review on them if you want to go see that. One of my first videos I made, like first or second or whatever. But yeah, so that's number 2, the Jackie Robinson dunks. I bet you weren't expecting that. But number 1, you know what it is. I couldn't not put it at number 1. It is the Jordan 1 highs. I don't know if I should call them the Chicagos or the Lost and Founds, because they're kind of both. It's like a Chicago reimagined. They call it the Lost and Founds. I'm gonna just go with Chicago because that's what it is. It's just a re-retro of the Chicagos, which haven't been retro since 2015. So when these were said to release, people went crazy. I mean, it was all anyone was talking about in the sneaker world for months until it released and until the end of the year. And even now, people are still oh, the Chicago ones, the Chicago ones. Like, this shoe just went absolutely crazy, and for good reason. The thing that shocked me about this was the market value after they dropped did not stay over $1,000 like I thought they would. I thought for sure it was gonna stay $900, $1,000, $1,100, $1,200, but no, they came down from like $1,300 the month before the release, and they just slowly dropped until release day, and it was like now they're going for what, 450. That just makes this shoe even better. That just they're not. I wouldn't say they're very obtainable because there are lots of people who can't afford a $450, $500 shoe like this, but it's much more obtainable than a $5,000 Louis Vuitton Off-White Air Force One. And so because it's just that much more attainable, it makes the shoe that much better because more people get to experience the shoe. And so that will round off the top 10 sneakers of 2022 list. I hope you liked it. If you did, make sure to hit the like button. Go ahead and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. And if I missed something, if there's something you would have put on here, or if you would just jumble a list around or whatever, let me know in the comments. I'm interested to see what you guys think, and we will catch you in the next one. Peace out.